Hey everyone, it's Chris
and Tanya
in Palm Beach, Florida.
no one's gonna understand that. So we are waiting at a Wawa right now doing a little truck branding. Our client lives right around the corner. We just came from our networking group and we picked up some delicious pastries from a bakery that one of our clients owns. We went to the she owns a couple of places in a downtown city, and we went to the other two restaurants last week. So popped by the bakery to grab some little desserts in the morning. What we wanted to talk about today was networking and what we've kind of learned over time, what to do, what not to do, what to make assumptions of and not to take for granted. So a couple of things that I personally kind of realize a little bit more and more over time is you get out of what you put in. Just like anything else you do marketing wise, if you put in a lot of work with social media, you're likely to get a lot out. If you put a lot of work into Google Ads, you're likely to get a lot out. If you put a lot into business to business marketing, you're likely to get a lot out. And it's the same thing for networking. So we're in one group where it's very casual, laid back, and you're more so in it for like the social purposes, kind of building relationships with people. And then your hopes is that you kind of get connected that way to clienteles or to other people to help you with their business. And then the other group that we're in, which we joined at the beginning of this year, is more referral based. So they have a rule of thumb that you're supposed to have like a one-on-one with somebody once a month, and then you need to technically give 2 referrals. So a couple of things that I've experienced may differ a little bit from Tanya's experience because she does do both groups with me. So I'm gonna let her go first with what she's kind of learned, and then I'll go second.
Thanks. Well, I think what I always kind of think about when is it worth joining a referral-based group where you're kind of, networking to promote your business to get referrals. And a lot of these groups, you do have a member fee. You have to pay for it. And so I kind of want to make sure that you're not just putting money into something and not receiving anything back, because not only is it you have to pay for it, you have to take time out of your day where that time could be working on jobs, it could be marketing online, it could be doing different things. So really making sure you're getting out of it what you put in. To be honest, when it comes to like home-based services, that's just needed when it's needed. It's not like certain services where you need it year-round all the time, like an accountant or a marketing company or a financial advisor. Like long-term, it's usually one and done jobs, and then hopefully you come back for another job, but it's not as long of a term. And so with home-based businesses, it's up in the air, right? There's value if you create value. So with us, kind of in ours, making those relationships where the person we talk to probably isn't going to need our services right away, but they may know someone who needs our services, and we're only going to find that out if we stay kind of in their mind. So even though we're not long-term, being part of that group or that relationship, the longer and the more effort you put into it, the more often you're gonna have people just remember you in that one time when they actually do need your services. So for me, my advice is when you're going in, really get to know who the other people in the group are, their services, really get to learn them, and then start plugging yourself into just their everyday lives, whether that's their business, their like family, just like kind of learning about them, and have them really just like remember you. So anytime someone brings up like junk removal, or they're never gonna say like, hey, I need a junk removal person right away. Usually it comes down to like, I gotta get rid of this thing, or I have some cleanup I have to do, or I'm doing renovations. That's where like the opportunity comes to bring up the junk removal business. And so at that point, you want them to remember you. So I think it just comes with consistency and continuously reminding the person that you exist, to make sure they actually remember when it finally does come to tuition, the need for your work, that they remember to give your information out. And it usually 9 out of 10 times, because it's a direct referral, turns into a job. Not always, but a lot of the times, once people know that you were recommended by a friend, they're more likely just to call you and only you, unless your price is way out of bounds. But
so to bounce off of Tanya, the the thing that I've kind of learned is you need to get to know them as quickly as possible. Where, like, let's say I just joined a group and there's 10 people in it, like in our group. Usually there's a lot of like different locations for groups because they're very widespread. So let's say there's 10 people in that group, and the first day you're there, you're just going to make quick introductions. You're going to get everyone's business cards. You're going to pass out your own. What I personally like to do, and I try to stick to it as best I can, is immediately add everybody on social media at the bare minimum. Like, we'll try to send out emails. Hey, it was great to meet you. Look forward to getting to know you. Let's maybe meet for coffee or lunch or dinner or something. You know, bring your wife, bring your husband. You know, try to create something out of it, because people do business with other people that they like and trust. So once they get to know you and it's not just always business talk, there's more likelihood of them saying like Chris and Tanya just got done, like they just got married, and like they just went on a trip, and then they reach out and say, hey, how was your trip? And you're like, oh, it was great. And while you're chatting, maybe they have a house that they're working at and they might need junk removal. But them knowing that you went out of town and that you're like a friend, so they remember these things to check out and reach out to you, you know, it's probably more fresh in their mind when something comes up that they think that you could work for. We have people that reach out and say, hey, I don't know if you guys handle this, but I have this situation. And it might not be something that we handle, but at least that means that they're making an effort. Even if they're not 100% sure, it's better than them just assuming, I don't think they do that, so I'm not going to bother reaching out. Because either we may know somebody, or maybe it's not something we do specifically, but we can still help out and maybe manage it otherwise. But with the social media, the great thing about social media is usually, and if you add them like on Facebook and if you add them on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, you get a little bit of their mix of their life. Like, we'll tie in a couple of business posts here and there on Facebook, but then the majority of it's personal. Like, we went on a trip, or we went to a new restaurant or something. You know, we're posting pictures of us outside of uniform, and that's a good opportunity for them to see what we do. They can like it, they can comment on it, they can message us about something, and vice versa. We have a plumber in the group. I started noticing after we messaged each other a couple of times and I started liking and commenting on his stuff, he's doing the same on ours. And now every single time we put a post out, I always see that he either hearts it or likes it. And, you know, something like that where you can keep up with somebody and then you can bring it up in conversation the next time you see them. It's a good way just to kind of stay close, and it's a very low effort thing to do. Like, you're going to be on social media anyways for personal or business. So if somebody said, hey, I just sold a house, I just bought a house, or I just hit 100 reviews or something, you know, don't just like it, but comment too. Say, congratulations, how was it? You know, build that little background talk, and I think over time that really adds up.
That's a good point too with this social media. Something like we could even do better is utilizing like being part of the group. So each group, they're very big on social media. They like to post when the meetings are happening, checking in, you know, connecting with the people in the group through social media and tagging them. And what's smart about that is when you, obviously they're all business people, so they're all small businesses, most of them. And so if you kind of like tag them, you post that you can connect with them, it just gets more eyes on your information. And so it's a great way to kind of spread yourself for free without paying for ads or doing those things, because it's going to hit the people you want to hit, the people near you, the people in the area, the people who like that business because it's self-ran, and so they'll like yours maybe, and they know like you're part of this collective, so you might have really good referrals. And obviously if you're investing your time and energy into like networking groups, it means that you're willing to go the extra mile to run your business. And so people see that, and generally they just realize that they'll probably go with you instead of maybe the other guy they never see online.
Yeah, and one more thing I was just thinking of was, I don't try to do it too often because then it ends up overtaking our pages, but I try to share posts of other people based on what they're doing. So like that plumber, sometimes it's just a promotion, sometimes it's a tip for your average homeowner, and I'm like, this is useful, so I'll share it to our page for other people to see, which automatically shares his name as well. And that's just me extending out kind of like a referral in a way, where it's not direct business, but I'm sharing his post for social media views on my behalf. But that's also, to me, engaging because I'm helping him out. And at the same time, we're sharing knowledge with other people. And you could take it a step further and try to think back to a job you've done where maybe somebody had a plumbing leak and they ended up having to get rid of their bathtub, and they had to basically gut up the whole floor of their bathroom. Or maybe they had a water pipe leak in their kitchen and they had to, you know, throw away some of their furniture because it got wet. You could throw out their plumbing information and say, hey everyone, here's a great tip if you own a home for plumbing. They're also a great company if you ever need it. I remember when we did a job for a client where they had a leak and we ended up having to remove some of their furniture and vanities. So if you ever have something like that come up in the future, don't freak out about it. Call them first and then call us to get rid of anything. So you can create a promotional post out of it while sharing information for somebody in one of your networking groups and promoting yourself at the same time. So food for thought. But we need to call our client for their ETA and then continue hanging out for another 20 minutes because we're like right around the corner. And then we're gonna go be picking up a dresser from somebody that found us on Nextdoor. So should be a pretty quick job. We went in with the hand truck, but it's one of those hallways where it cuts like on a half of a trapezoid top, but the door doesn't open very far. So we're actually gonna grab the dolly and I'll flip it all the way upside down on its head. We were gonna take it down the hand truck. It's usually what we do with dressers, but it looks like a wonky little opening of a door. So I'll show you what I mean.
That's a good one to do. It usually is family.
Comes in handy.
Not a ton of room here. So figure the dolly be easier than the hand truck. Next door.
I'm so sorry. It's coming.
Okay, easy job. Tanya's on Nextdoor trying to market. So we were thinking about donating the dresser on the way to a ribbon cutting that we're going to, but it has mold all on the bottom, like the black mold. So probably not gonna be doing that anymore. What we're going to now though is a client. She does like packing and moving and some other organizational work. And it's just like a couple of bags and like a cart, which I'm kind of looking forward to getting. And then a headboard only that looks like it's attached to like the bed frame and the nightstands and stuff. So I don't know all of how that is gonna come apart, but we kind of gave her a range just based on what we saw. And okay, so we'll see what it looks like when we get there before we determine exactly how much it's gonna be, because sometimes they're like, oh yeah, just take the headboard. And then you're like, well, we can, but it's all attached, so you can't use a frame without the headboard. Or the nightstands maybe like they lean on the headboard, so if you take away the headboard, the nightstands don't have anything to stabilize themselves. So sometimes you have to take it all, and I've had that happen twice. So that's what I was concerned about when Tanya showed me the photo. But we're heading there right now, and after that we're going to a ribbon cutting to support somebody in one of our other networking groups. Okay. So all of this here. Cart's a little smaller than I thought it was going to be. I thought we could use it on jobs. And that's something inside. Front door, you got it? Very long for the pickup truck. Bye.